Not again. Jeez. So while making this grasshopper popper, I was screwing around on this cutting board I was using, and I drew this fish bait I designed. I really liked the way it looked. And I tried to recreate it on a drawing, and it sucked really bad. I want this shape. It looks so good. So what I did was I took the Dremel tool and I cut into the board, and then I took a piece of paper and I rubbed it. So now I'm gonna glue this over to this board over here. This balsa wood I picked up, smack it on there, cut it out. Now I tried to purchase a get out of here, bug, a bandsaw at Harbor Freight, but they were all out. So I'm just gonna be doing this with the chisel and the Dremel. So yeah, let's go cut this out. I also forgot to mention it's 11 o'clock at night. Safety first, right, kids? Sweet. I really hope this sticks on here. You were not invited. Get out of here. Jeez. People these days. Son of a gun. So it's dried on there now, so I can get chiseling in a second. And this hopper popper I made it's not done yet because I don't want to get out the air sprayer just yet until I have all the baits done I'm gonna do. But anyways, this I did out of an old 2x4 and it took forever. And I've never worked with basalt wood or basalt or whatever the heck it's called, but this should hopefully be a lot easier now. So I'm gonna get on to the time lapse and see you in a second. So the light is broken. That's cool, I guess. I guess this will do. So now I'm on to sanding it, and I just want to say I really don't like working with, what is this wood called? Balsa. That's what it's called, balsa wood. I really don't like working with balsa wood because it's so soft when you're chiseling it. It just kind of like crunches up and falls apart. Like you can see, oh dang it. You can see right here, like where I was chiseling, and it just kind of crushes the wood, and you kind of sand down. And like I lost the shape I wanted on this lure. So I'll probably have to remake it later, but I'm going to try and salvage this one. Yeah, next time I'm going to remake this lure once we have a bandsaw. It'd be much easier to get that shape, and I won't have to use the Dremel as much. So yeah, I'm going to try and salvage this and shave it off a bit. So I was sanding the fish, and the light came back on because I left the light on, and it literally scared the living crap out of me. But anyways, almost done sanding, and then we can add some details, and yeah. Really disappointed it didn't turn out how I wanted it. Guess we need a bandsaw. Now that I shape it out more, it's starting to look a little bit like this fat wiggler right here I have. Of course, I don't know if I want a spoon on this. It all depends on how well it swims. I'll do a swim test once I've sealed the wood with epoxy and see how well it swims with the rubber tail I'm going to add to it. If it gets enough action, then I won't add a spoon, but if it doesn't, I'll add a spoon like this fat guy right here. Son of a gun, why are there so many bugs? So I made this stand to keep our thing up. I woke up real early, 6 this morning, so I could put a lip on it, and not a lip, a spoon on the front. I put rings in the popper, and then this is one my dad made, and this is like a June bug he made out of a piece of wood I carved that I gave up on. And I put rings in that, so now I'm going to put an epoxy clear coat on these, and then I'm going to hang them on these little things right here, which I'm pretty sure it's like a bow clip or something like that. It's just what we had laying around in my mom's art supplies or something like that. You just clip your thing on and then slide it back, and it hangs right here, so it can dry out and just kind of drip on the floor. So let's go epoxy these. So my polyurethane dried up down there, so that's cool. I also added a little spring to the end of this so I can screw on a grub tail later. So I don't know if I'm going to find some more polyurethane or I'm just going to go straight into the epoxy coat before I paint it. Yeah. Okay, those are all nice and mixed up. I can start coating this. And try to get an even, smooth paint job. So to speed up the resin hardening, I found this nail thing my mom had for when she used to have like fake nails or whatever, to like cure the weird stuff, like keeps it sticking to your fingers. Yeah, so it has this little sensor in here for when your finger's there. I just cover it with a piece of tape to help these harden up faster. And while these are drying, I'm going to be carving next video's project. So yeah. Okay, I'm very excited. The lures are now dry. The resin has dried, so I can start painting them with the air gun I just bought. But before I start out with Big Chumbo, I think I'm going to practice with the hopper popper. That actually turned out really well. It looks kind of like an orca. So next I'm just going to add some scale look and some orange, and it'll be all done. Do you ever just like screw something up so bad? So I wasn't super happy with the paint job that I had on this lure in particular. I finished the hopper popper and I tried fishing with that at a creek and didn't catch anything. But I wasn't satisfied with the way this lure looked. I wanted it to look better. and I tested it how it swam, and it didn't swim how I wanted it to. So I had to add some lead to the stomach. Before I could do that, I had to get this certain clamp thing out of one of our sheds, and yeah. You ever just take something apart and be like, how did this happen? Angle grinder. Let's do this. So I was about to cut the bolt with the grinder, but then I realized last time I cut something with this grinder, I'd sprayed little metal chunks all up in my shorts and ruined them, so I decided to go change into a pair of two small clothes that permanently smell like wrestling practice. Finally. Bolts out. Ow. Little pieces of metal embedded in my skin. That's fun. So I was gonna melt some lead little balls and put it in here, but then they just kind of perfectly, two of them perfectly fit in there. So I'm just gonna go get some baking soda and some super glue and just cover that up. So there's no need to get the torch out, so that was pointless. Is this too big? No. Okay, that should be enough to put enough lead in there. Okay, couldn't find any super glue, so epoxy it is. Get a little bit of hardener up in here. I need like a toothpick. Stir that around a bit. Get that all down in there. Shut that thing down. Where is the other one? Oh, there it is. Press it down. Shoot. That little turd down in there. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now I'm gonna get a little bit more. Ah, shoot. Baking soda. Stick that down in there. For the amount of time I spent in this thing, I want it to catch a fish, but I just like know that it's not gonna. So that's just how these things go. Oh, what the frick? Disgusting. Where are you painting this stupid lure? Right here, right now. Base coat. Good old blue. Added some orange. I added eyes, and oh my gosh, this side looks so good. I was like, that's probably the, yeah. But this side, ooh, let's not look at that. Look at the pretty side. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna put the tail on here. It is finished. I know I have to put a clear coat on here, but I'm waiting until that comes in on the mail. So as of right now, let's go see how it swims. Well, we're out at the testing pond. It's our little koi pond off our back porch. I've added some blue details to this just to add some, you know, just some extra look. Plus, I got a little anxious. When I said I was going to test it, I did test it. And some of the paint kind of chipped off and left all these ugly white patches. So I just covered it with this blue tealish paint. Yeah. And then I put a clear coat on with some epoxy, which I would rather use Illuminite, UV, or whatever. But it has not come in the mail yet. And I shortened down the tail just a bit. So let's test how she swims.